So people often wonder, when is it time to go to couples therapy? What is couples therapy about, right? And it's a question I get a lot. I do a lot of couples therapy. I love it. I have a passion for it. Some people think I'm crazy, but when is it time? Like, I want to help debunk the belief that going to couples therapy is an indication that something's wrong with your relationship. Like, I cannot stress enough how off that is. And often people wait so long to go to couples therapy. It's like resuscitating sort of a dead corpse, and they wonder why it doesn't work, right? Like, what you want to do is think about couples therapy as a resource. Think about it as you don't think about going to the gym and getting a trainer because you're about to fall apart. You go because you want to stay healthy and you want to stay connected. And am I saying every relationship needs couples therapy? Well, I mean, kind of, but no. Like, of course not, but at the same time, I want you to think about couples therapy as a resource where you develop a relationship with somebody that's going to know you, know your partner or partners, and help you navigate life sometimes. And one of the good indications to say, okay, I really do need to go, rather than it's just a grand idea, is that you're going to notice in any relationship, you get caught in these really predictable patterns, probably familiar fights, familiar patterns that aggravate you. And in the beginning, you have these really deep conversations, and this bothers me. Oh, I get that. And it goes really well, and that's lovely. But kind of it goes so well in the beginning because we have this belief, we have this like almost this false sense of security at the beginning of a relationship because we're still really in the highly amorous, highly drugged state, to be honest with you. It's wonderful. But, you got a lot of oxytocin, things like that. You can bare your soul to one another because you feel this like inherent safeness. But what happens with couples, which is the most human thing, is as we go along, guess who sees our best and yet our worst qualities? Our partner. And then what happens is we start getting caught in these really predictable patterns together. And it is extremely normal for the things that really helped you develop your strengths and your defenses and made you attracted to one another. It is very normal for those things, while they work on some levels, they will start clashing. Because oftentimes what is attractive at the beginning, maybe he was so unpredictable and spontaneous and exciting, and now guess what? He's not very responsible, right? Like the things that ends up, really starting to rub us start to come out, and that's super normal. And oftentimes what's happening is those ways that our bodies developed through our childhood start to develop in our personalities. And we have really predictable ways of protecting ourselves. And then in couples, guess when we start to talk about those differences? When we're in high threat and high conflict. And now for some reason we decide this is a time that we should stop and really, talk about the most sensitive parts of one another. And it doesn't go well. So one of the things I would suggest is if your partner is saying, would you go to couples therapy with me? Go. I can't tell you how often I see people post-divorce who say, my partner tried to get me to go, I refused to go, and I regret that. If they're saying it, what they're probably saying is, you're going to think they're saying something's wrong with you, and they might actually be saying this. Something's wrong with you, and if we go to couples therapy, we're going to fix it. But as a couples therapist, I can let you rest assured that most couples therapists know that everybody comes in trying to change their partner. But that's not where we land. Where we land, couples therapy is about individual growth. It's about learning what makes us defensive, what makes us trigger each other, and then how to know ourselves better and become more secure inside ourselves and together. So if your partner's saying, would you go? I so suggest you go. Hear it instead as, I want to be close to you, I care about you, and I feel stuck, and I don't know how to get through it. And if you'll go with me, I have a resource. And I'll have somebody that can help us talk through things. And it can be scary because you can think, your partner's the therapist is going to side with the other person. And I'm not saying that doesn't come out that way sometimes in couples therapy. It does. But through long-term work, you start feeling that balance out. And we start knowing each other's kind of triggers. And a couples therapist can help you build muscles that make you feel safe and secure together. So I would say go earlier, not later. And If you're struggling and scared to ask your partner, approach it with the positive. I love you. I want to be close to you. I think I struggle sometimes being my best self with you. And I think sometimes you do. Sometimes we don't bring out the best in each other. Let's go to somebody so we can live our best selves together. And let's see it as something that isn't wrong with us. Let's see it as it's a human experience to have hard times relating to each other. And getting help through that is so important and such a positive step. And what I love now in this generations, therapy is not seen as this really negative quality by many people. And I can't tell you how excited I am. But somehow couples therapy, right? There's almost like you've never been to therapy, but couples therapy is something to keep secret, or it's an indicator. And in fact, if you go to couples therapy, let your kids know, because what the message you're doing is, hey, we love each other and we're willing to do something hard for each other. And if you're scared to go to couples therapy, then go to individual therapy and talk about it. Don't just cut that avenue off. Say, my partner wants me to go, I feel threatened. And let somebody help you talk through that.